Hey folks, it's Cameron from the Brushfire Mind, and this is coffee. If you check out the link down below in the description, you can find ways to support us by buying us more coffee. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Remember before Donald Trump, Cheney was the name that you could say. You could be like, ooh, Dick Cheney, and they'd be like, ah, like it was. Yeah. So it's not going to happen. Like,
people hated Dick Cheney because he was a Democrat-style warmonger.
You know, Schadenfreude might not be a Christian thing to experience.
No, but it's one of my favorite words.
Not only is it a great word, but sometimes it's just so satisfying to feel. And the older I get in life, the more I recognize, maybe this is not an appropriate place for Schadenfreude, right? Like, and it could just be a maturity thing or a lack of maturity or whatever, I don't know. And yet, for some reason this morning, I really wish that we could play breakup songs. And I wish we could play the kind of, not the, oh, please come back to me breakup songs. No,
toadies.
Well, I was going to say, Gives You Hell by the All-American Rejects, for example, or Seeing Things for the First Time by the Black Crowes. Is that the name of the song? I'm blanked it out.
I'm not sure.
But that kind of song, because turns out Wyoming broke up with
new pronouns. Thanks for this one, Steve. Thanks for this one. Of course, I had to forward it to Cameron in the communications app because, dear God, must we cautiously protect the
Legion, I was going to make those jokes, man. You beat me to the punch. You beat me to the punch in our internal thread and on the show.
Primary against Don Lemon's 8 p.m. slot.
Can we go ahead? That would, boy, there's a tent that you don't want to mess with the color of. One more. This one comes to us from Habeas Corpses. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Not real artistic, not terribly clever, but buddy, straight to the point.
Got it.
Liz Cheney.
So what happened was
she lost by like 30 plus points. Unsurprisingly, she lost by like 30 plus points.
Let me see. I've got it from. Yeah, I want to share this one from the New York Times, archived, of course, because screw those guys. Also, they want you to pay money to read their articles, and, well, you don't have to do that if you know how to use the archive, because the internet is forever. The internet is not, however, instantaneous. Close, but not quite. I had to archive this one myself because nobody had done it yet. But here we go. It says Liz Cheney.
Too much.
Trump's chief antagonist.
I don't know. Chief antagonist, at least on the Republican side, is probably pretty. Look, the little bit of the January 6th committee, and yes, the January 6th committee is the wokest thing in the country, and it is causing problems.
It is the poison in the well water that really put Liz Cheney over the edge. She might have
won.
If it were, that's what I was going to say. If it weren't for her involvement in the January 6th thing, she might have won. I don't suspect she would have won handily, but I mean,
she's the incumbent. She had the Cheney name.
Those shitheads did put her in office once, or repeatedly, but they did put her in office before. So without the J6 thing, she might have had a chance. But just signing on to that in the way that she did, because let's not forget, the fact of the matter is this. The January 6th committee, as they were putting together the January 6th, the J6 Select Committee, there was a lot of bluster about it being fair and bipartisan and even-handed. And who were the ones that were thrown off of it? Was it Gates and anyway, there were a couple of Republicans that were not professional Democrats like Liz Cheney, and they were invited to go fuck themselves.
I know Jim Jordan was one of them.
Jim Jordan was, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
as soon as if there was any, like, if you're suspended, if you're engaging in the suspension of disbelief, and you go, well, maybe this thing won't be a total snow job. Oh, you mean Jim Jordan's not allowed on it? So it's a total snow job.
Right.
So you don't want opposing voices.
Right.
Okay. Track it.
So even so, if it hadn't been for that piece of the optics, maybe even she could have done the J6 committee thing without losing the re-election bid. But the fact of the matter is, by being on the January 6th committee, and continuing on with it, even after thanks Danny, even after Jordan and Banks were dismissed, she made it very clear that she's not your friend. She's not even a Republican.
She's got that duty to the Constitution, Chris.
Oh, my God.
She's got that duty to the Constitution.
Yeah.
She's got that duty to that booty, sir.
I'd be hard-pressed to pick out more than a dozen currently elected officials that I could argue in good faith don't deserve to be hanged, according to the law, based on their violation of oath of office. And Liz Cheney is maybe not the furthest from the top of that list, but
well, at this point, she has lost so spectacularly. I'm going to go so far as to say, and let's not forget, they were working with an ABC producer for this entire thing.
Yes, they were.
Woo! There's a whole lot there.
Oh, no, I mean, okay.
That this was on purpose, that this was a plan, that this was tryouts for CNN or MSNBC. Because I'm gonna edit your speech a little bit here, Legion, for obvious reasons. She got beat so bad, the only thing left for her to do is to have a primetime slot at one of those shows.
Well, Crackshot makes a good point. Liz could come back and run for another office as a Democrat.
No. Absolutely. No. Everything. No. But she's got the name Cheney. Remember, before Donald Trump, Cheney was the name that you could say. You could be like, ooh, Dick Cheney, and they'd be like, like it was. Yeah. So it's not going to happen. Like,
people hated Dick Cheney because he was a Democrat-style warmonger. I mean, Dick Cheney loved him some wars like only a Democrat loves him some wars.
Yeah. Steve's mentioning Alaska. That's its own can of worms. Chris and I haven't discussed how we would cover that yet. But there's a lot going on there that's that I find pretty interesting and depressing, and something that we could look at the rest of the country at large. It'd be a way for, well, there's a whole lot there that I don't even want to get into, because basically it would be depressing, and it'll piss off all the libertarians, and that needs to be better developed before we get into it. But right now, frankly, it's Woke Wednesday, and we're taking just maybe one more victory lap, because damn, Liz, you served that Constitution. You remember when Jeb Bush was like, sometimes you have to lose the primary to win the general? It's like, hey Jeb, how'd that work out for you? You lost the hell out that primary. How's the general go?
In fairness, we won that general. That was the one where he got shellacked by Trump, and the God Emperor ascended.
Yes, I understand. I'm just saying that's what happened here, and okay, the January 6th thing is woke, and there's a reason why we refer to it as woke. part of being woke is following a false narrative, and that false narrative has to include heroes and villains. And conveniently, that's right, there's the message. And conveniently, the heroes are never guys like Chris and I. I mean, like, seriously, saving puppies from a burning building, and we did it wrong because we're white, right? That's being woke. And the January 6th thing in particular, you know, just running down the greatest hits, okay, like, did Trump actually collude with Russia? No. Did Trump actually do anything inappropriate in the greatest phone call of all time? No. In fact, it's pretty obvious that it was the Bidens that were doing stuff that was inappropriate. And now, conveniently enough, that there's that Trump is Biden's political opposition instead of the other way around. Nobody's impeaching Biden. And then you've got the very fine people hoax on both sides, and and specifically the piss tape hoax. And you go on and on and on and on and on. And so by the time the January 6th committee rolls around, be like, y'all better be able to show me a smoking fucking gun in the first 30 seconds or I'm out, because I'm sick of you lying to me about all this. And you've already got two strikes against you because you wouldn't let Jim Jordan on your committee. Oh, okay. You don't you don't have any evidence? So this is another one of those things where we're going to follow the message.
Right.
So it's really no surprise that Liz Cheney has lost, and has lost spectacularly. Well, and probably even tells herself, well, price it to him. At least I can live with myself. At least I can.
And you know what, Liz? I'm glad you can live with yourself. I'm glad you made the choices you wanted to make. You live with yourself, and we don't have to.
Yep.
I'm super comfortable with that part of the we don't have to. Bye.
Yep. Sorry, I'd rather get behind Carrie Lake than Liz Cheney. In more ways than one.
And I want to talk about this a little bit. I don't know how much this actually affected Cheney's outcomes, but this is, this article's from July 1st. This is an old article. But I just want to mention that
old.
This. What?
It's just funny. 6 weeks ago is old.
Yeah, fair enough. But I just wanted to mention this, relative to Trump's endorsees winning, and okay, Vernon Jones didn't do so good here in Georgia, but across the country, Trump's endorsees in these Republican primaries have been making huge wins. But part of it is that there have been active Democrat maneuvers to prop up the Trump-endorsed GOP candidates, because they think that when they get to the general, they can point to the Trump endorsee and say, "Oh, look at the crazy! It's a QAnon believing, Trump supporting, tiki torch waving nut job."
Oh yes, that's more hoaxes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can. Well, here's a list of hoaxes that we can recite, and it's amazing. It still amazes me the things, and we've talked about this so many times on the show before, but there are people, and not a smattering of people like the people that believe in the lizard people and the flat Earth thing. It's not a statistically insignificant number. There are people out there who vote that believe Donald Trump said very fine people, that he said all Mexicans are racists or rapists and murderers, that January 6th wasn't a fed up, that Gretchen Whitmer was almost kidnapped by not FBI agents, that Donald Trump wanted you to snort bleach like it was coke off a stripper's ass.
Drink bleach. He wanted you to drink bleach, remember?
Yeah.
Golly, and that one in particular was so stupid. It's because your joke about inhaling bleach would actually be more accurate to the lie. But Alex from the TPS report says, I wonder who they'll cast for season 2 of the January 6th committee. I think that might be... Actually, no, I don't think they're done. I think if Donald Trump was ever in any real danger, Now is when it is, because when an animal is both wounded and cornered. Like, do you know a squirrel has enough
It
bite?
might lash out at you unreasonably, forgetting about its own safety, and do something insane like commit a criminal trespass against your Fourth Amendment rights without a reasonable,
And use the FBI
articulable
to do it?
suspicion or probable cause, and then seize private property that wasn't covered by the warrant.
And then move to the Justice
your freaking
Department?
passports, and then lie about it,
And then give them
get
back.
caught in the lie and give them back.
We gave the passports back, but we never had them. And then you know what they'll do? They'll actually go to the DOJ and say, "Hey, because this is a national security risk, we have to keep that affidavit signed no matter what." What do you mean, no matter what? Oh,
You mean sealed, not signed. Sealed.
sealed. Well,
Yeah.
signed, sealed, whatever. Yeah,
But not delivered.
Signed.
Because God forbid we actually see some legitimate, valid information. And I hadn't really intended on talking about the Mar-a-Lago thing today, but watching TPS report Monday evening, Alex went into more detail about the importance of the affidavit, and Alex and Danny talked a little bit about the passports, and they were saying something about why does he have multiple passports? So I had a government job. I did that kind of stuff. I had several passports for different things. Like I had one for unofficial travel, one for official travel, one for you never fucking saw me in this country, right? And they have a different. There's a blue back for blue passport for personal stuff, a brown passport for official sanctioned business, et cetera, et cetera. So and apparently one of the passports that was seized by the FBI was a diplomatic passport, and there's a chance that that's not valid, even if it's not expired, because he's no longer the president, but he is a former president, so even though he can't represent the United States
well, he
directly,
still does, though.
he's still a representative of the United States as a public face, no matter where he goes.
We give former presidents wide latitude, and we do that on purpose. Like I was going to say, you know that a squirrel has enough bite force to bite your pinky off.
Yeah.
Right? No, wound it, corner it, then try and grab it.
Oh, no, I was just looking to see if one of my secret squirrel hats was hanging on the wall behind us, because I would have gotten a chuckle out of that.
But yeah, that is, if Donald Trump was ever in danger, now is the time when he is actually in the most danger. It would actually not surprise me if the raid was conducted before Liz Cheney went down in absolute flames, so that they could be allowed to say, no, we did the raid before. This is not a retaliatory move.
Right.
I mean, look, and it doesn't matter because Merrick Garland personally signed off on the raid. Like, okay, so Jeff Sessions and a Russian ambassador spend 10 minutes farting in the same room, and Jeff Sessions has to recuse himself from absolutely everything ever with regard to Russia, okay? But Donald Trump takes a giant shit on what should be the crowning achievement of Merrick Garland's career. And there's no conflict of interest there whatsoever.
Right. Not at all.
Not a bit.
And Alex points, that's kind of what I was getting to. Alex says, never mind the passports weren't listed as seizable items. And guys, a good attorney can look and say, whoa. You were here for a murder investigation, right? That cocaine, that was not on the warrant. So all those murder weapons are inadmissible because you broke the law.
And that's an extremely simplified version, but whatever. I guess we're not getting to three. Boy, we could just victory lap Liz Cheney's defeat the entire episode, couldn't we?